Welcome to the podcast with your favorite cash flow guys, Mike and Blaine. Giving you the best advice while having a beer. When you're running a business, there are problems every day. Let Mike and Blaine help you out and guide your way. Cheers to the good times with Mike and Blaine for business, beer, and BS.
Damn, I'm right on it again. Episode 103. This is going to be my favorite episode ever. Why? Because we have a guest. So this is Mike and Blaine. If you found us at mikeandblaine.com or your favorite podcast directory. I'm Mike Blaine, also known as Cash Flow Mike. My partner is Blaine Birch, the CEO of Dry Run, and we are joined today by the one. It says Obi-Ron Saharian, right? Of Profit First, the CEO, one of the founders too, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
All right,
I'm
dude.
the CEO of Profit First Professionals.
Man, I'll tell you what. And if you didn't know Blaine, I probably didn't tell you this. I am now a proud partner of Profit First Professionals, right? I mean, it's on the website. It's
Nice.
official, man. I am the
We
guy.
let him into the hen house. Now, the fox is in the hen house, ready to go.
Hey, it's not that. Think Border Collie. I'm just going to be herding them for you.
There you go. All right.
Think Fox, think Border Collie.
It's a better analogy. No, we're excited, Mike. We really are. And I know we've been talking about it for a little while. I'm glad you and I were able to put our minds together and come up with pretty good programs that really complement each other. And I'm really excited about working with you guys. Hopefully, learning more about everything that you're doing and really helping businesses succeed.
Hey, I'm there for it. Hey, Blaine, what's going on in your world? What's up, man?
Oh, I'm excited for 103. We've got 3, so that's kind of a cool new thing here. So, we got to dive into the beer here first, right off the bat, because topic today. You're talking about topic today. It's all about robots, AI, and so today I grabbed Good Robot Tropical Storm Category 6 IPA. And I got to mention my beer sponsor. I got 2 beer sponsors. I'm Mike. I was jealous of Mike for so long. I got 2 beer sponsors now. This week is our great friend CPA Larry Weinstein, who has sponsored Mike in the past. He's sponsoring my beer now. So I'm going week to week, back and forth between my 2 awesome beer sponsors. Thank you, Larry. Awesome beer. And I picked a good one for you this week. So thank you so much.
All right.
I know Larry. Hi, Larry.
Yeah, see, Ron knows Larry. So,
yeah, what's up?
And I'll tell you what, I got to tell this about Blaine. He cried so many episodes in a row. Finally, somebody broke down and sponsored him.
You like to say that. I did have a sponsor before. I had 1 beer sponsor, but yeah, I know you've been outpacing my beer sponsorship, tenfold. So, I'm so grateful now to have.
You still have Moosehead up by you?
What's that?
Moosehead beer, Blaine? Isn't that up in your neck of the woods?
It's up. Yeah, that was, I do remember that from my university days, but I haven't had a Moosehead in quite some time, to be honest.
Okay.
It's okay. It's a beer.
Right. Well, you're not talking to a beer connoisseur, clearly, right?
It's a fun one though. It's a nostalgic beer up here. So
got it. All right. So Obi-Ron.
Yeah.
What's up, my man? What are you drinking today?
I'm drinking a Pellegrino right here.
Even better. There you go.
Yeah. I like it because it's 35 calories and it's got the fizz and it's good and it's quite refreshing.
Yep. So no worries there.
There you go.
I went with the Banger IPA. Now, I didn't have a sponsor. What I had was something better than a sponsor.
Free beer?
First of all, this is St. Arnold. So, yeah, the free beer, that's what we're talking about. Everything I buy or it's free, that's better. But anyway, St. Arnold, another Texas brewery. But we had a 50th wedding anniversary party here at the house, right? So it's Courtney's parents, 50 years we were celebrating. And we bought beer. What we didn't anticipate is everybody else bringing stuff too. So I'm sitting on like 7 cases of stuff.
You got good friends, good family friends, bro. Yeah. Might show up with nothing.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's a nice group of friends, right? I mean, that's good. Well, good. So this is 8.4 today, and so who knows what I'm going to be like by the end. So who knows what we're going to be like.
Well, we've fought through before, so we should be okay today too.
All right, so today's topic, Ryan, you're kind of new. We just picked these things out like 10 minutes beforehand, but I saw an article this morning about how small businesses were increasingly using AI, right? And there's an actual overwhelming amount of people that says it's actually improved their business, saved them more time, everything like that. 90% of the people that have tried it say it's the best thing that's happened to them. So let's dig into that today and, think about if you're using it now, what you think about it. What are the, I'll call it tips, tricks, and traps, right? Because there's got to be some traps. You can't trust everything that's coming off of it right now. So, hey, Ron, what do you think? Let's start with you.
Yeah, so thank you. And one of the things that I want to go back in time a little bit, and talk about cloud-based accounting, cloud-based technologies, right? We remember when they first came out, right? There was those firms that adopted them, and then there was those firms that, kind of wanted to see a little bit. Then they got on board. Then the next one, and then you still had those laggards, right? That still, even today, are still struggling with cloud-based technology.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? I share that because today is AI, is yesterday's cloud-based technology. What is your attitude? What was your attitude? Was your attitude embracing it? Was your attitude standoffish? How was that choice you made then affecting your business today? Because right now, you actually have another chance to redo it. So, yeah, it's scary. Every industry, whether it's accounting, bookkeeping, marketing, sales, everything. I have an intern, right? I have a high school intern. She is doing AI. She's corresponding with her teachers using ChatGPT, email. She says, send us the emails. So it's crazy. Kids are using it. She told me literally that the thank you email that she sent me after the interview was from ChatGPT.
So did you hire the intern or the robot?
The intern, she's awesome. She is awesome. She so many good people out there. She's awesome. But yeah, so I wanted to start with that little, going back in time, because that's where we are now. And I work with accountants all over the world, and and bookkeeping firms, and I not beg them, but this is their opportunity to embrace technology where they didn't in the past before, and take an opportunity to really another chance for something they may have missed on when cloud first came about.
Yeah, that's interesting that you bring back, and I like that you're going back in time because I had a similar experience, and Blaine probably had one too. At Finograph, right? At Finograph, we were building, this cloud-based technology that not only was, data residing in the cloud, we were connecting to your QuickBooks and kind of getting in your life a little bit, right? Which is let me see what's in your books. And in 2012, that was our biggest obstacle: is how do I get you, right, to trust a cloud-based system with transferring data into the cloud? I mean, Blaine, when you first started driving, what do you think?
Yeah, we definitely got some of that. I think we we were a few years behind you getting going and getting connected and everything, but still early on had a little bit of those reservations. We don't see that much anymore. Like, so it's changed quite a bit over the last whatever 10 years since it really started to become, I'm not even popular. I guess it was sort of gone from new to popular. I don't know if AI is going to take that long, because this one feels like a bit more of a tidal wave, like or a tsunami. Like, it is coming fast, and it feels a bit like if you don't hop on, you're going to be left behind a little quicker than maybe with cloud.
Yeah, so I'm gonna tie that in with what Ron just said about like students using it. Right, I just took a position teaching a class at Trinity University, right? And one of the things that they're debating, and it goes back to this is a tidal wave, and it's flooding colleges pretty fast where they're using Chat GPT. But one of the things they're discussing as an administration at the college level is, at what point in time should we stifle it? Which means Well, at what point in time are you no longer a student? You're just a librarian looking up facts on Chat GPT or
Yeah, you
using it.
lose your
Yeah.
mind. You're not
Yeah, right.
thinking anymore. You're just curating the information and stringing it all together without putting any additional thought into it.
Yeah. So, all right. So,
Yeah.
think about you, Ron, at Profit First. You've got a team spread out, I think, across the United States, right?
The
Or the
globe.
world, probably. Yeah, globally.
Yeah.
How much would you trust them to use ChatGPT or this AI to do their job? How much would you trust them?
Well, I trust all of them to do their job the best that they can do first and foremost. Otherwise, I hired some bad people. What my strategy has been to anoint somebody in my company, Billy Ann. You know Billy Ann, right,
Oh
Mike?
yeah,
So
absolutely.
Billy Ann, she's our AI expert, right? So we're all trying to learn it a little bit, but I'm willing to make the investment in another human being to really go deep into it, to really learn to it, to not necessarily get caught up in all the shiny bells and whistles, because what's coming on now, the tools are going to be obsolete in a year or two. So I think what the education that I'm looking to have investing in her is understanding how it all really works, how to understand the prompts, how to, really get good at understanding how to architect the prompts to get the proper responses that make the most sense. Then figuring out how that can be translated through an initiative throughout the organization and do pilot programs. And maybe we just start with documentation, right? Maybe we just look to somehow figure out some AI easy something and then build upon that.
Yeah, I tell you what, you picked the right person for that job, man. Did I see her and her family go family rock climbing? Did I see that on Facebook or something like that?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know how that happened.
Like,
I
no,
don't
you
encourage
family
it.
rock climbing. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't encourage it. I don't. I love Billy Ann, and she's like a professional athlete. I'm gonna have to have a waiver saying no riding motorcycles, no playing basketball off season. But yeah, she's rock climbing now.
She does. She's always active. She's always driven. And I've got to tell you, Ron, probably one of the most professional people that I've dealt with. I mean, just
Thank
always just professional, and I love that about her. So Blaine, let's think about you with AI. Have you considered how to use it within your company?
Yeah, like we considered it. We dove in quick, and we were testing it a lot, and we're still using it. But we've got walls around it, so they're very, like, we're quite careful about seeing where the limits are. And then there's some things that it is good at. It's fast at taking information and summarizing it and coming up with little briefs for things. But we're also really careful because there's a limit, and we don't want to be the ones to really find out where that breaking point is, right?
you.
Even with a bringing AI into dry run, like we have algorithms and things built into that. We're very cautious about how and when we bring in actual, like, machine learning. Lots of people call what we do AI. No, we're talking really formal, like, machine learning. We tread very carefully because the worst thing you can do is start giving misleading information, because AI is, I compare it sort of to a calculator. Like, yeah, going from trying to do math on a piece of paper to a calculator is incredibly big leap. But it doesn't make sort of the decisions for you. You have to figure out what to put in. I don't think AI is very good at making, right now anyway, making connections that humans can do. Making connections that, let's say for a business, you're running a business and you're saying, hey, I think there's an opportunity. I was talking with someone earlier today and I was saying, hey, well, there's an opportunity for us to sell fridges in Austin, like, because AI may not see that and may not make a connection of how that makes sense for you as a business. And when you're starting to connect these different things and how you could grow and use opportunities and where you see risk and managing risk, and you're taking all these connections and looking into the future, I don't think it's very good at that. But once you kind of know what you want to do and you can ask it some of these questions to help you pull data together and make sense of it, yeah, I think it might be more useful there.
Well, I tell you, that's a great point because Ron is great at making these connections, right? I mean, look at the income streams that you have at Profit First, right? I don't think a robot could have come up with some of the ideas that you have to build community. I mean, to build community, to license books, to, all of the things that you do to, encourage profitability in businesses. I mean, I don't think a robot's smart enough to do that.
Well, thank you. And we don't have a robot. We have a mad scientist, and his name is Mike McAllowitz, right? And so, the inventor, the entrepreneur mind works in mysterious ways that don't even know how to figure it out. I don't even consider myself an entrepreneur. I consider myself a business owner, right? Mike's the entrepreneur. Different mindsets, different skill sets, different belief systems. And so, AI isn't at that point where they're going to be able to think like Mike McAllowitz, or be able to string things along like that, let alone the compassion or the empathy. I mean, I know empathetic AI is being built, but there's a lot of empathy in what Mike teaches and what he writes about. And there's a lot of empathetic entrepreneurs, and that's why a lot of them start business for specific reasons, right? A lot of them are to solve problems, challenges, to make things better. And so, AI right now is black and white, and it's got a ways to go to get to that level when it's going to become an inventor of things that are going to solve humanity's crises.
Yeah. All right. So two things that I loved about what you said. First of all, I want to hear what you think is the distinction between owner and entrepreneur. All right, because I think a lot of people that have businesses will want to know because they might consider themselves to be an entrepreneur. Maybe they're not, right? According to that definition. The second thing is about the empathy and the way these things are learned. There's got to be a reason, and I don't know what it is. Maybe you guys do. That they limited the information that they feed into the AI, the learning model, to 2021. Right? There's like there's a date in 2021 that it can't go beyond unless you give it to it. Right. Mm-hmm. So it can't search any of that. So there's something about either current events or there's something about it doesn't want it to be that close to reality. Right. So a lot of it's being fed off of the past, what you're getting back. So, all right. So two questions for you, Ron. What do you think?
All right. So what's the difference in my mind between an entrepreneur and a business owner? Well, I look at the entrepreneur more as the individual that is constantly inventing ideas in businesses, right? That have tons of things that are going around, that they're able to come up with brilliant ideas, brilliant plans, and execute on them. A business owner, in my mind, is somebody that maybe has taken the vision of what an entrepreneur has set forth and maybe partnered with them, maybe started a business with a different type of mindset, right? And so I think the entrepreneur is more the visionary, the business owner is more the integrator kind of mindset, if you will. But they're both can be like everybody it's starting a business. It's the different types of mindsets, right? And so I think the entrepreneur is wired different than the business owner. I think they're probably a little bit more opportunistic, a little bit more living on the edge in terms of taking risks, willing to try new things faster, maybe also stop things a little bit shorter than the business owner would do. Right, where a business owner might take things a little bit further, entrepreneur might get sidetracked a little bit, shiny object syndrome, if you will.
Squirrel.
Yeah, so that I know there's not a real dictionary definition, but that's how I see things. I'm a one-trick pony, Mike. I'm not going around starting all these businesses, managing all these things and everything.
Blaine, what do you think? I mean, because what do you consider yourself first? And then,
I totally get what you're saying, and it feels like I owned a creative agency for over a decade, and I consider myself a business owner. Mm. And now that I'm like co-founder in Dry Run, I consider myself an entrepreneur. And I don't really know why, except that it feels like in the first one, it was much more quantifiable. And we just like, yeah, we opened it, we hung our shingle up, we were making money. It's just doing a good job and doing sales and just like repeatable engine. And with dry run, it's like, it is a lot riskier, but it's also, we're trying to change the world. That's kind of how I feel a little bit. The way you talked about it, I'm kind of like, I think maybe I was always a little bit of that entrepreneur slang because I'm always trying to pull shit and grow stuff and do some weird shit in my agency too, right? We are always at an idea and we're always trying to do something that was wildly sometimes stupid, but so that's an interesting, I really appreciate the way you kind of explained it, because in my mind, I feel like I made a transition, but maybe I was always a little bit more of that entrepreneur slant without knowing it, I guess.
Yeah,
You probably were. But also it's the vision, right? And so, it's also how we grow up, right? What is our tendencies? Where we, what did our parents allow us to do? Didn't allow us to do? And how did that form us? Right. That's why, I was raised, get a corporate job, get a government job, get your 20, be a police officer, get your 20 years, retire, boom, 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 boom. It wasn't like, hey, you need to start a business. He was the entrepreneur and failed miserably many times.
Interesting though is, see, I was raised probably more that way. My dad had a job in the same business for 25, 28 years and then retired, and he retired for about a year and then he got a job in a different place because he just said, I can't do that. And I think he was there over 20 years. So I don't come from that, but I was always just wired different.
Yeah.
Never even consider. I've always just marched to my own beat, and I don't know why. It's just, I think sometimes that's with entrepreneurs and with business owners, we're just wired different.
Yeah.
And nothing good or worse or better or anything, just different, right?
Yeah, Ron, you mentioned being a police officer. Yeah, of course, I think everybody knows I was one. My dad was more disappointed that I was a police officer than an entrepreneur struggling.
Right. Isn't that crazy? It's like,
like he was more disappointed in me.
yeah. And then when I'm working corporate, my father's like, you should start your own business. You're killing it in this corporate world. You should start your own business. You start your own business. I start my own business with Mike. And he's like, what are you doing? Why are you starting your own business? You're doing what with what? You're not an accountant.
Right. That's right. You got a family to support. What do you think? Yeah. Blaine, I want to go back to something you talked about your team. You're putting walls around, what's happening. And it reminded me of, I'm going to tell the dumbest story probably I've ever told in this podcast. All right. So,
man, that's going to be a tall order, but let's give her.
It's probably not as bad as you think. But all right. So when I was in the Army, right, the National Guard, we deployed 4 different times. And one of the deployments was to Honduras, right? And I remember having to give a speech to my company, right? Hey, if you're not the type of person that people already find attractive, where they come up to you and, they just think that you're good looking or they like your personality. And, there's always that. Don't think that just because you got off a plane in a different country that you're now attractive. meaning there's a lot of scams. There's a lot of things that happen to take advantage of soldiers and, when they're overseas. And, people get in their head. They're like, oh, wow, this beautiful woman loves me. Maybe not. maybe something else. So it was always that. I was like going, you have to put walls around people and say, if you hear them saying these things that nobody's ever told you before, don't believe it. Right. At least an alarm goes off. The second thing was, as I said, it's never good to be on CNN, or Fox or any of these. It's never good. If you're a soldier in Honduras, there's never a good story about you. So let's do the things that won't get us on the news. Meaning that when you put walls around people that you're trying to put them in there.
Now you brought something up here that I want to bounce off you guys because like ChatGPT is just one brand, one flavor of AI and they're showing up, they're popping up daily. And it's a little bit of ChatGPT is also, I think, building a lot of trust in people. Amazon, Google, when you're talking Apple, when you're talking with your devices, they've built up a lot of trust over the last few years. And as soon as you mentioned scam, and I thought, yeah, how long is it until some of these AI platforms are either hacked or built to be malicious, and people have got too much trust and start getting scammed, and then suddenly you have to try and vet everything you're doing in those environments as well, because it's coming. It's absolutely coming.
Blaine, you made a good comment earlier on. You don't want to be the one, you don't want to be the test pilot in a lot of these things, right?
Yeah.
And I agree. There's going to be some nefarious activities going on. There's always going to be. There's bad state actors that are going to be doing it.
Mhm.
It's going to be very difficult for us to figure out what's legit,
Yeah.
right? Right, and who's doing the work, even, right? I mean, so they're I don't know. It's going to be very interesting, and I think that there's going to be a lot of regulation that's going to have to happen. But I just hope that the regulation doesn't stymie the creativity, and the spirit of new technologies and
Yeah.
adapting to the times.
Have you guys used anything other than Chat GPT? I mean, I tried one time one of the photo ones, and it was absolutely like, oh, that's garbage, right? It's not what I
Yeah.
was thinking, and mainly because of what Ron said was you have to learn the prompts. You have to be able to talk that language to
Yeah.
be able to get it to do kind of what you're thinking in your mind. So I haven't used another one.
I've just tried same thing. Some of the image making ones, the ones I tried were ass, to be honest. Like,
Yeah,
they were not very good. I'm sure they'll all get better. But the question though too is there's a difference also. Like, let's say an image generating tool.
Right.
There's quality. So we could do something high quality, but is it actually um, sending the message you wanted to send? Are there subtle things in these images that you might not really like, that you don't recognize because you're trusting this machine
yeah.
to do it? A little example I'll make, and like I use it early on with my team. I said, here's the problem with Chat GPT or AI in general. Is there was a video online where someone had asked, and I think Mike, I don't know if I brought something on the show before, but somebody had asked one of these AI tools to make a music video for the song "Zombie" by the Cranberries,
Oh yeah, I've heard
and
that.
it made the entire video with zombies in but the text, like the subtext or the actual song, is about a child being killed in Ireland, and that's what this is all about. And so it completely missed the boat. It went just pure literal.
Yeah.
And with that one, it's sort of obvious if you know the background and everything. But let's say you're doing some marketing images, boy, you better take a close look at what it's made and and look at it with a critical eye, and make sure what you're putting out there is actually connecting with your brand and saying what you want to say, because it'll be too easy to just kind of slide. Same with written content, a
Yeah.
little too easy to just trust it and dump it in, right?
Well, brand manipulation too, right?
Mhm.
Copycatting brands and all sorts of stuff. I mean,
Yep.
look at the generic pharmaceutical industry. Just there's going to be a whole nother industry of just generating fake brands. I mean, you're going to have what China, what's the streets in New York, right, where they have all the knockoffs. That's what's scary. That's going to be
Yeah.
like you're going to see ads. You're going to see stuff. I mean, talk about phishing to the whole next level, right? It's
Mhm.
Yeah.
yeah.
All right. So speaking of never missing the boat and always doing what they say, I want to talk about profit first for a little bit. All right.
Oh, okay.
Let's talk about that program and what it can do, because you guys didn't look at the basic accounting formula or the income statement from the traditional point of view. You say we can switch these things around. It isn't just sales minus expenses equals profit. Let's change a mind frame to sales minus profit equals expenses. So, Ron, tell us about profit first, and how it can help, and what can we do?
Sure. So no, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Profit First Professionals was formed to support the teaching in Mike's book, Profit First. And for any of your audience members, I have 10 free copies of Profit First. If anybody would like a copy, all they got to do is reach out to you, say, hey, I'd love a copy of Profit First. You guys send me their addresses, and I'll be more than happy to gift them a copy. First off, Profit First is not accounting or bookkeeping. It's a system. It's a cash flow system that resides in between financials and forecasting. It's an allocation method. It's a pay yourself first method. They say cash is king. And while that may be true, the issue that we found over the years is that most business owners are able to generate cash. They'll sell their soul. They'll do whatever they can to keep the business afloat. But the problem is that they'll still make those same mistakes. Okay. So a cash flow system trumps just simply getting cash flow. And that's what Profit First is. It's the most neglected system. And what we've done, instead of sales minus expenses equal profit, profit being the leftover, with profit, you can pay down debt. With profit, you can celebrate the health of the company. With profit, you can be philanthropic and all sorts of stuff. What comes first is important. So we're saying it's not important. So what Mike's done is simply flip the equation. Sales minus profit equal expenses. Sell, take a predetermined percentage of profit and run the business on everything else. But it's not just about profit, okay? It's about the business owner paying themselves. It's about the business owner being profitable. It's about the business owner being able to keep their expenses in line, to understand the ebbs and flows of their cash flow, to have financial and fiscal clarity on a real-time basis. And so, if you're not paying yourself, if you don't have clarity on the ebbs and flows of your cash, if you're not profitable, if you're, if you're one of the 83% of business owners out there living check to check, then this is probably the system that you don't have. So, bend your mind a little bit when you read the book. Okay, bend your mind a little bit to it. It's conceptually simple. It's grandmother's envelope budgeting methodology brought to the 21st century, right? And so this is an allocation method that'll work with any accounting software and any methodology that you're using. But I do implore you to please, if you want to change, if you're sick and tired of doing the same thing over and over, right? Pick up a copy of this book. Be one of the 10. I'll gift you a copy of the book. Read it. Take a look at profitfirstprofessionals.com, and I'll introduce you to an expert that will be able to make sure that you're doing it right.
Yeah, Ron, I got to tell you, and this isn't just a one at party. It's like going, he sold millions of these, right?
Oh yeah,
I mean, this is
so the book. We've been implementing this in businesses since 2014. The book's been translated into over 30 different languages. We have over 1 million implementations, everything from startups to $107 million construction company, everything in between. Over 800 certified accounting firms around the globe that are running it in their businesses and deploying it in all their customers' businesses.
right. And now you got a bank.
It's not a get rich quick scheme. This is a lifestyle. This is this is a way to really keep more of your money.
It has permeated the fabric of small business. I mean, so much so that even banks are getting involved.
Yeah.
I mean, you got that big partnership now with Relay.
Yeah, we got a great banking ship with Relay. A lot of the issues with Profit First is we use bank accounts. Now Relay has solved the problem of going to the banks. And so we have a very nice partnership with Relay. We have a partnership with North One. We have various different partnerships throughout. And again, one of the things is that partnering with you, Mike, I mean, we're just scratching the surface of Profit First. I mean, utilizing your tools and Blaine's dry runs, analysis stuff. These are the tools that are going to supercharge an accounting firm that's going to provide great data to help the business owner make forward decisions that are going to help them accomplish what they want.
Yeah. So what you're seeing in real time is like the formation of not only friendships between companies, they really do work together. I mean, Blaine, I think you can see that as well. That profit first, foundational. I mean, you get a process, you get a methodology, you get a mindset about this is what is important to me. I mean, you can forecast out the future. What is this going to look like? From here on out. And then me, I just kind of tie it into how it all works with the financial sophistication of the balance sheet and these type of things that most people don't need, that don't know. If you're just starting out and you don't know anything about the income statement or balance sheet or cash flow statement, that's where I help you kind of ease into it, right? It's like taking profit first and easing into a little bit more sophistication. So, Blaine, what's your thoughts there?
Well, like that's the interesting thing is I think that there's a place where we're all on the same page, and it is a little unique. Unfortunately, it's a bit too unique in the world where we're all very practical and we're all focused on results. And with Driver, when we talk about it all the time, it's cash flow, revenue, profit. It's like you've got to get the main three legs of the stool under control. And I was talking with my team yesterday, and I had a conversation with someone. I was a little frustrated after. I'll be honest with you, as a CPA, I was a little frustrated, and I said, "Here's the problem." I said, "Some of these CPAs will walk in and walk in to talk with their customer, and the customer will stand there and their arms cut off, they're bleeding out, and they'll look at them and go, yeah, according to the last quarter, your vegetable consumption is down 10%. And we think if you bring your carrot consumption up by 3%, long-term, your eyesight will be better." And then they hand them a report and they walk out the door, and they just go, "And if they don't do it, if they don't survive, it's not my fault."
That's even if they talk to them.
If they even talk to them, they probably send it to them, just mail it, like email it to them. And the CPAs and the CFOs and the advisors that we deal with all the time, they have a different mentality. And it's the same when you guys have it. Like, Mike, I know it's like that you're bleeding cash, you're losing cash out of your business. How do we get that cash in? And that's what we're talking about all the time is that cash flow, that lifeblood, get that under control. And once that's under control, we can start looking at where you're leaking money in your sales pipeline and how you drive profit in your business. Very much actionable, trying to improve the business. We're not trying to say it's a check mark, you're done, we did our part. And I think that's why I really love the way both you guys talk, is because it's about results, and it's about helping these business owners that, man, it hasn't been this bad of a rough of a time for a long time for business owners. I applaud anyone that's really helping them. And I'll be honest with you, I'm scolding the ones out there that are refusing to. So draw a line in the sand there, right?
Well, I mean, Profit First disrupted the industry, no doubt about it, in 2014, 15. And, we're the black sheep, of the bunch, but it's more and more people are realizing that, fundamentals are key. And that's what this is.
Yep.
Fundamentals, right? Pay yourself first, reserve money for Uncle Sam, be profitable so you can hire. We're not talking rocket science. Right. And this is where I get pissed too, Blaine, because we're going to have regional disasters every year. Florida is going to get crushed by hurricanes. The Midwest is going to flood. California's burning. I'm about to get a hurricane, a tornado, and a blizzard. Right. When are the accounting firms going to get hit with good fiscal responsibility? Right. When are we going to stop living off this accrual bullshit and realize that cash is king to a certain extent, right?
Yep.
And that let's have great business fundamentals. Let's live within our means. Let's not pull the wool over our own eyes, and let's just keep.
Well, even if you have good weather, you could have personal illness or something happen in your family that disrupts your business, right? So again, what I like working with you guys is that there's a connection between the fundamentals. I mean, that's all I preach is how do I take, a day-to-day action or a ratio and turn it into a day-to-day action? And that's what you guys are doing as well. I like that.
Well, this is what Profit First did for me. Like I said, I'm not an entrepreneur. Profit First is the first business I ever started. It took Mike about 6 months to deprogram me. I was walking into the basement of his house in literally slacks and a button-down white shirt. I didn't have a tie. Okay. And I said, we had a plan, we had a book. It was launched on the 14th. I mean, on August 1st, 2014. I pick up the phone that first day. Right. And I just picked up the phone and I started calling. Right. I made a sale. Okay. We got a payment. That payment, Mike then took the percentages in the book and allocated that first payment, okay, $250, right, into the buckets, into those bank accounts right there. I made another sale, another one, another one. We're at 8 now. It's September, okay, right? We're watching all these different bank accounts, owner's pay accumulating, tax accumulating, profit accumulating, OPEX accumulating. We bought computers from Hoffman LaRoche that was going out of business. We worked a deal with a telecom company to give us free telephones, right? And we started paying ourselves. What we in our we're 50-50. Whatever the amount was in there, 50% of that pay went to Mike, 50% of it went to me. First quarter, right? We gave ourselves profit distributions. It was enough to buy a pizza. Okay. But we did it. We did it. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Then we just sold and delivered, rebuilt, sold, delivered to the point where I've never had to worry about how am I going to figure out what percentage of the money am I going to pay myself? How am I going to be profitable? How am I going to keep my expenses out of control? It's scary that I've had this experience because a lot of business owners have not. And they, regardless of where you are right now in your business, you can change it with profit first. Right? It's not going to happen overnight, regardless of where you are financially, regardless of where you are. I don't care if you're 20K in the rears, an S Corp, an LLC. We can set you on the right path to move forward.
Yeah. So I like it. I like it. So let's get back to AI. You good with that? Final thoughts? All right. All right. So the reason I wanted to go back, all right, hey, Ron, that was the commercial part of the.
Yeah, it's great. It's awesome. Thank you. Yeah. Checks in the middle.
I love it. It didn't feel commercially at all. It was actually just a great conversation. So
there you go. So all right. So back to AI. I forget who said it. I think it was Blaine, where they was talking about not being used. Oh yeah, it's Chat GPT, right? And then there's all these others. Well, if you remember, TiVo was in that position too. Right, TiVo had first mover advantage. It had the name recognition. It had everybody that was out there like going, "You got to TiVo this." We even used TiVo as a verb, like on just TiVo it, right? But TiVo ended up scaring the marketplace for some reason because everybody else could come in with DVR and just then on demand right behind it. So I think you're right. I think there's something that's going to happen over the next 2 to 3 years where there's either going to be consolidation. You know, you got this, I got that. Let's merge, or there's going to be some people just fall out of the market.
Well, and specialization, I think, is a huge thing that's going to come because ChatGPT is kind of this weird generalist toy almost that does some stuff pretty good, but if it doesn't start to fine tune onto something, I don't know. Like I suppose it could grow into kind of a Google and it's kind of a search thing in a way, and it's used for everything. But I think the specialists are where the ground is going to be made up. So it's like, hey, because I'm already seeing it. I saw something the other day. Mike, you might even send it to me. It was some kind of marketing AI thing. And it was, but they kind of say, this is how we're better than ChatGPT. It's like, this is what we do. And it's perfect for this small pillar. And that's where I think the market will get flooded. And the, which is great because there's going to be all these really high-end specialist tools. But it still comes back a little bit to trustability. There's going to be this, it's going to take years, I think, to build up that trust where people go, okay, I'll actually plug this into my business and let it do stuff. Right.
Yeah. So ChatGPT right now is easy to trust because you don't give anything. You give your question, you don't give anything.
or $20 if you want the fancy one. But
Yeah, nobody's doing
but yeah, true. It doesn't.
So this is going to generate a lot of new job opportunities. I mean, we're going to see a job title, I'm pretty sure, called prompt engineer, right? Prompt engineer, prompt analyst,
see.
right?
Yeah.
Specialists. You're going to see folks that are coming out of the pharmaceutical industry that have such depth of knowledge of pharmaceuticals that they're going to be able to engineer prompts in a way that only somebody with that specific knowledge in the industry is going to be able to do.
Yeah. All right. So my favorite thing to do with Chat GPT right now is fix Excel commands.
My favorite thing was when it wrote a country song that Mike sang.
Oh, I did. Oh, we're supposed to do a rap.
And you were going to do a rap. I don't know if you want to do it this week, but we were going to do a rap. You could write a rap about the merits of AI.
Well, there is going to be there is a Profit First song that's coming out for real.
Oh, that's true. That is true.
It was constructed in the Nashville Country Music Hall of Fame. So yeah,
nice.
It'll be released on the Profit First. We're releasing another edition. Mike is, and it's going to be in there as well. Funny, right?
Good stuff.
Yeah, it's not as good as your little ditty in the beginning, though.
Oh, Mike,
I'm asking Chad to write me a song.
You know, it started making me think a little bit. Like we've used it. Like we had him write a song before for us, and then just dove in and you sang it, which was amazing. We've asked it to do stuff for us, including like our Hundo Super Pack. We actually said like draw name. Now, was that actually random, or do you think Chat GPT actually scoured the internet and came up with something? I'm starting to wonder now, to be honest. We asked it to be random. Who knows if it was? I'm starting to wonder now, like you can ask it things, but is it actually doing what you ask, or is it, I don't know. Is it kind of
taking its own
messing with
liberties,
shit a bit,
right?
Taking liberties, exactly. And a question I've got like that. So there's you look at a lot of these things that have come up, automation, and like over the years, these big technological advancements, they always make it sound like, well, it's just going to take away everybody's job. And somehow it takes away work, but makes more work. And I'm curious if that's going to happen with AI as well, that it might replace some work, but will it somehow make way more work over here? What do you guys thoughts?
I think you're probably right. It's going to be different, just like, the automobile and the horse, just like the train and the car, just like, cloud and everything else. It's going to spur other industries are going to come out of it. New companies are going to come out of it. Mega companies are going to come out of it. Companies are going to, come and go. It's going to be like the proliferation of the accounting industry when all the apps came out in, the early 2000s, right? 1 year there's 3, next year there's 1,500.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh, dude, I got it.
All right.
Chad wrote me a rap.
Right? All right, rock it out, man. I want to hear this.
Hey, Ron, you didn't hear my country song, but it was terrible. This has got to be worse. All right, this has got to be worse. So, are you ready? You better mark this so you can record it as a clip.
I will. I'll find this one after. Trust me.
All right. So again, it just happened. I'm going to try to make it work. So, you ready? You got like a brrr or something.
You're going to do it.
All right. Listen close to a tale untold. It's Mike and Blaine Podcast, watching it unfold. In a world full of data, circuits and code, AI rising up. It's breaking the mold. Small business with dreams in their heart. Profit first, they're ready from the start. It's Mike and Blaine Podcast. It's guiding the way. AI's role in small business we convey. Here's the chorus. We're the rise of AI, watch us soar. With Mike and Blaine, we're ready to explore. From bites and profits, a journey to share. It's A&I and small business, a dynamic pair.
That was beauty. That was a beaut. I got a growl for you for that one, man. That was a beaut.
Wow.
Think about that.
Wow.
Okay, so it's not Kanye or Taylor Swift or any of those, but that's Chad and I doing that in a second.
That was amazing. That was awesome. I'm gonna get a beatbox audio sound so we can actually just like rock in the beatbox because I'm not a good beatboxer.
Electric Boogaloo back in the day, Mike.
Probably. Hey, you got to realize country music and rap are the same. They're the exact same. It's just a different beat behind it.
Interesting.
I'm telling you, I've had this discussion with many people. We've come to the conclusion there is no difference besides the music behind it.
Well, you've just ruined both genres. So
I will. Okay. I'm going to say something that might be controversial here, and I'm not talking the cool old, like old school or outlaw country, but like top 40 country. Hear me out on this. Top 40 country is Def Leppard with a fiddle. That's all it is.
Okay, podcast over.
And yeah.
Listen to it next time you listen to some. That's you'll hear it. You'll hear
Who's
it.
that other band? That other band might as well. You could have used them too.
Bon Jovi.
Hey, easy boy, easy.
I mean, that's your neck of word.
Close to home in Jersey here. Watch it. We leave the hospital with either a Bon Jovi CD or a Bruce Springsteen CD or something like that.
Right.
MP3.
Opie Ron, what'd you learn today?
I learned that, as a business owner, we're going to be ups and downs. That new technology is going to be hit us in the life cycles of us running a business, and it's how we're embracing it, who we're talking to about it, how we're learning about it. That is really going to make us successful business owners in the future.
Yeah, Blaine, you got something to add?
Well, the thing that got me is when you said something about a scam and it just also went, oh no, that's coming. All these different AI platforms, and we're going to have to be really careful what we adopt because some of it'll be scams, some of it'll just be crappy quality, and we can't afford that in our business.
I think there's going to be 2 or 3 major players that come out, right? And maybe not because of a scam, it's just because they can't keep up. There's going to be something that makes them break.
Yeah, money's going to talk.
It's going to be money. Yeah, so it's going to be money. So, hey, this is episode 103. You have been listening to Mike and Blaine. This is Business, Beer, and BS, and we just finished with a whole bunch of that, just the BS part. But we were joined by a guest, and we don't have a lot of guests, so this is a real honor, a real treat for us. Ron Saharian for Profit First. Profit First is probably the best place to start. If you start a business, if you have a business, you don't have a process, start with Profit First because that's always going to get you going. So, Ron, final words.
Make sure you reach out to Mike and Blaine, request that book, and may the profits be with you.
There you go.
Make sure you follow us, guys. Make sure you subscribe so you catch every episode. Thanks so much.
Check out their website at mikeandblaine.com. Then subscribe to the podcast and buy these guys a beer.